When people talk about the Bible, it's often treated like it dropped straight from heaven, fully formed. But it didn't. This series is about how the Bible actually came to exist, slowly, inside real communities, through preaching, worship, and even disagreement. Over 5 episodes, we'll walk through that history, not to tear anything down, but to understand what we've been handed. Because the Bible didn't appear first and then create the church. The church was already alive before a single New Testament book was written.
Episode 1 explores the beginnings of Christianity before any New Testament books existed. At the beginning, there was no Christian Bible. Jesus didn't write a book. The apostles didn't start by writing either. They preached, they remembered, they broke bread. They told the story again and again, in different cities, to different people. They read from the Jewish scriptures, especially the Greek Septuagint, and they used those texts in worship. What we now call Scripture grew out of that life. It didn't replace it. Before there was a New Testament, there was already a church.
Episode 2 looks at the scriptures that Jesus and the apostles actually read and quoted. Many people assume the Old Testament has always looked the same. It hasn't. In the first century, different Jewish communities used different collections of sacred books. The early Christians inherited the Greek scriptures, the Septuagint, the same version most New Testament writers quote. That version includes books later removed by some Christians during the Reformation. So when Jesus and the apostles read scripture, it looked closer to the Catholic Old Testament than to the shorter one many people know today.
Episode 3 traces how the oral preaching of the apostles became the written Gospels. You'll often hear that the Gospels were written too late by unknown people and shaped into legends, but they appear within living memory of the events they describe. They come from communities that knew the witnesses, and from traditions already being read aloud in worship. The stories weren't invented and compiled into a book. They were told first, and only later written down.
Episode 4 examines how early Christians recognized which writings were scripture. It's often said the church picked books to control people. In reality, many Christian writings circulated in the early centuries. What set some apart wasn't power, but recognition. Was it connected to the apostles? Did it agree with the faith already being preached? Was it read everywhere in the churches? Texts that failed those tests, including later Gnostic writings, simply didn't match the life of the church.
Episode 5 shows how the canon was confirmed and what the Bible means for the church today. No single council sat down and made the Bible. Local churches were already reading the same texts in worship long before anything was officially defined. Councils didn't create Scripture. They confirmed what Christians were already living with. And that's why Scripture and tradition can't be separated. The Bible is not a standalone object. It is a library that lives inside the church. This series is an invitation to look again, with honesty. Episode 1 begins soon.